Hi, welcome to today's tutorial on C Sharp basic programming. The last two tutorials was the while loop and the do while loop. This one's going to be the for loop. The for loop you use when you know how many times you want to loop for. And so the condition that gets passed is three different commands. The first one is you declare an integer and assign a value to it, and that's where you'll start counting the integer for how many times you want to loop. And the middle one, the one after that, is a condition to be met. So the integer, if it's called x, x is greater than 10, x is less than 10, and so if you start at 0, less than 10 will give you 10 iterations of the loop. So in that way you can count how many times it loops. And the last one is the integer that you declared and assigned. What you want to do is add 1 to it every time it loops. And the last one, that's what it will do. It will add 1. So if it starts at 0, it loops once, and then it comes through the loop again, it will get added 1 to it. So it will go from 0 to 1, and it'll build up until it gets to 9. It will loop, and then it will get incremented up to 10, and it will stop looping because 10 is not less than 10, 10 is equal to 10. So the condition becomes false. So the best way to do it is to show you. It starts off with the keyword for, and then you've got brackets and the commands are within the brackets, and then you've got the braces, and within the braces you put your code to be looped, and so this code will do that a console again, just and we'll do light line. The reason why it's indicating something wrong is because we've not put the condition in here yet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create an integer equals x. It could be whatever you want. Integer x declared then equal 0. You can call it integer you want, you can give it whatever value you want. Then there's another command after the semicolon. And this is a condition, so we're going to say x is less than 5 and semicolon to stop the command, and the final one is x plus plus. So what we're doing is we're adding 1 to x, and that's what the x plus plus does. So it loops at 0, loops at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, loops at 4, comes here, test x is now 5, test to see if x is less than 5, and it's not less than 5, so it becomes false, and because the statement is false, it stops looping. It will only loop when this middle statement is true, and that x will be is this x here, and so is that x. So it tests if it's true, then it increments, adds 1 to it. So next time it loops round, x is 1 more than it was beforehand, and once this becomes false, the loop exits the for loop and goes on to the next line of code, whatever that may be. And so we'll run this code to see what happens. And I've got to put another line of code so you can see. So it's like console dot. This is just to hold on to the DOS prompt, and so it doesn't disappear once it's finished. Right, and so you can see it's done it 5 times. Now, if I put true in here, it's an infinite loop. If you remember, with this, the condition in the middle is testing for true, and when it's true, the for loop loops, and when that condition becomes false, we're going to type in false. Nothing happened. It didn't loop. It exited the for loop because the condition was false. So the middle one is a test condition where you had the while in the brackets and the condition inside the brackets. That's true, so it would loop, and when it was false, it wouldn't loop. That is the equivalent of the middle command inside the for loop. And the first one is to initiate an integer, and the second one is to add 1 on to the integer that's going to be tested. And the whole purpose of this is to get a true or false. And by these 3 different commands, we can calculate how many times it's going to loop. If we want 5 loops, then it's x is less than 5. If we want 10, x is less than 10. If we want 20, x is less than 20. And so we can do a precise loop, but it's going to loop a certain amount of times. Well, a while loop, we're looking for a true or false condition, and we are not really concerned how many times it's going to loop. It's just not going to loop when the condition is false, so we don't want to do that when it's false, and that's what we would use a while loop for. And let me see. Yeah, you can. I'm going to show you this here. I can take the 3 conditions out of the brackets, and you have to leave the 2 semicolons, and what this will happen, the for loop will loop, but it's got nothing to test the condition, so the default is going to be true, and so it's just continuously going to loop non-stop. And so you can do that. You wouldn't want to do that, but I'm just showing you, maybe it gives you a better picture of what's going on here. And so we can type in false here, and it's not looped because it's not true. And we can type in true, so that's the difference between the for loop and the while loop. The while loop just tests to see if something is true or false. Well, the for loop has got these 2 extra added bits where you can declare an integer equals 0, and now we've got an x. It's just for this. It's local just to this loop. Once the loop's finished, that x is no longer in use, and so we can start at 0. We know that it's going to start at 0. And when it loops, we're going to do x equals x plus 1. We can do it that way there. So we're adding 1 to x all the time, and then we can, in the middle, to get a true, we can say 0, no, x is less than 4, so it's going to loop 4 times. So 4 times it will be true, and when it gets to number 4, x gets to number 4, it will become false and it will exit the loop. And we'll prove this by 4 times. So that's the difference. You've got these 2 extra ones, and you can see how I done x add 1 equals x. So x starts at 0 here, loops once, gets 1 added on to x after the test condition. The next time it comes round, it's 1, gets tests, and loops again, and when it gets to 3 it loops and comes back round. It's now number 4, gets tested, and it is now false and no longer oops. So that's for oops. Again, thank you for your time.